You've been hearing quite a lot from many aspects of beauty care, fashion, luxury, and many aspects of it for the last 2 days. So we're going to hear from some of our experts here about the most important, rather one of the most important areas of all what we have been seeing around this exhibition, which is packaging. So obviously the subject that we're going to focus is anything and everything around packaging. The theme that we're going to dwell on is packaging evolution, navigating cutting-edge beauty packaging trends. So you have seen a lot of trends around this exhibition for the past 2 days. We have seen a lot of innovations, a lot of structures and formats about sustainability. And before I go with the experts over here, I have a question for all of you. It's a quiz question. Let me see if you're able to answer who said this. Packaging should be a theater. It should create a strong connect, okay? Because it is this story that shapes our emotional connect to a product. Who said that? Can somebody, a very famous person said that packaging is a theater and it should create a story, and that story should have an emotional connect. Anybody? Audience? Okay, that was Steve Jobs who mentioned that. All right, so anyway, so that's where I would like to start this session with. Okay, so let's move on to our panelists with some very interesting thoughts that we have put together for you to understand, yeah? So I'll start with Dennis from SKYNE. Hello, Dennis. Hi. So how has beauty packaging changed to meet today's consumer needs for both two things? One is for sustainability and also for design. If you could share your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I think today's consumer is very aware, of course, of packaging, especially beauty packaging should be sustainable, recyclable, but also it should be very beautiful, of course. I think nowadays consumers are also interested, where is packaging made? Where is it made from? So it's not only about the looks, but also about the content. And if I think of my own profession, then recently we did a hair care brand, and the packaging we developed was refillable and was recyclable. And it was one of the main things that we needed to come up with to be true to this brand.
Yeah. Okay, as a design agency, you have really shared your thoughts. Thank you. Moving on to structure, which is paper-based structure, I would like to ask FEDRIGONI. Melanie is here. Melanie, you're a specialist when it comes to producing paper and pulp-based structures for the luxury packaging industry. Okay, when creating a beauty packaging, what are the primary considerations for achieving the desired look and feel? Because that's what a consumer looks at most of the time, right? The look and feel. So your take, please.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for asking. Then, selecting raw materials for sustainable packaging to achieve the right feel and touch requires a balance between functionality, aesthetic, brand identity, of course, and environmental impact. The best way to approach would be first to understand the requirement of the packaging. What is its function? Is it for protection, insulation, shelf life? Then you have to think about the type of packaging. Is it a rigid box, a plastic bag, a folded box? Then the appearance. Which effect do you want to have with your packaging? Do you want to have something smooth, glossy, rough? And finally, it's important to have in mind for sure the targeted audience. Nowadays, it's crucial to select sustainable materials. So you can look for certification like FSC, which will ensure traceability, sustainability of the material. But also you can consider recyclable fibers, 100% recyclable fibers. And this is, at FEDRIGONI, this is something very, very important. It's one of our key ESG target by 2030, is to have 100% of our paper range to be made with 100% recycled fibers. You can also consider alternative fibers for the materials like bamboo, bagasse, hemp, or cotton. You can use upcycled fibers. I have a good example of a project we have developed with a very famous luxury fashion brand. We have used in the textile industry, we have used the denim waste offcuts of the brands, and we have mixed it with the pulp of our paper to produce the packaging for the brand. So, which means that from our side, we have been able to reduce the amount of virgin cellulose in the paper. From a brand perspective, we have been able to reduce as well the denim waste offcuts of the brands. Finally, you also have some biodegradable fibers. So this fiber will biodegrade naturally, and they will have any harmful impact on the environment. It's also important for you to play with the sensory appeal of your packaging. What do you want to achieve? What is the message you have? Do you want to have like a embossed design or a more subtle texture material, or maybe something soft touch matte finish? You can also play with the transparency, with the opacity, and also with the rigidity and the weight of the packaging. So you can play with many, many things actually. And last but not least, you need to be able to evaluate the impact on the environment. So life cycle analysis is a methodology you can use to assess environmental impact of your products from raw material extraction to the final disposal of the products. We use a tool, for instance, an LSA life cycle assessment tool that is capable to evaluate the environmental impacts of each ingredient of the packaging, and also that calculate the carbon footprint, energy footprint, and water footprint.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Melanie. That was quite elaborate. You explained about paper. I mean, your structure really plays role in these areas. That's great. Moving on. What we're trying to do here is we are trying to understand packaging innovation from a design perspective, and now from a structure and format on which is paper. That's what we are seeing. Now that is being fulfilled by printers, right? Printer converters. We have two expert printer converters here, starting with Rama, who is from Classique Labels and Packaging. So Rama, if I may ask you, your main focus, obviously, although you're working with designers and suppliers like FEDRIGONI, you finally produce for brand owners. That's your main client, right? So what key trends and demands on one side? On the other side, you also, I'm sure, have some challenges, right? And also you have opportunities working with these brands, especially in personal care and luxury and cosmetic and beauty sector. So your take.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, as you rightly said, it's a story when we are actually working with the brand owners. So it's a story which has to be told. And earlier the concept was like, see it to believe it. So now from that particular slogan, it has gone to a stage where it's saying like, see and feel to believe it. So when this particular story is told, so of course from the design stage itself, so we have to start working hard on it. And after that comes the substrate part or the material part. Then it comes to us. Then we have to see how well we have to mix all these structures well to create a nice product. Now, the biggest challenge is that if you just visit any of the beauty stands out here, so any brand which is coming out, they've got so many variety of products what they have got, right from the bottles, then it goes to the labels, then the bottle printing is there, then they've got the boxes itself, then they've got... So the biggest challenge what the brand owners give is to us is like they want to have the same type of embellishment when it comes to the feel effect. Of course, in seeing part, we can manage as a converter to give the similar colors across all the different type of bottles what they have got or different type of structures they have. But the moment when they talk like to get the same feel effect on different type of material what they have got, that's the biggest challenge what we have got in today's scenario. So end of the day, we are left with no other choice than to create one-stop packaging solution for any brand owner. If I am working in silos, like I am the only label printer, if someone is doing the boxes, if the third one is printing the bottles, the fourth one is making the tubes, then it's very difficult for any brand owner to get the similar theme across all his range of products. And that's how they are stuck. But in today's world, it is because it's in demand now. Brand owner want to get all his products under one roof. So that's why we have also developed our own technologies when we are compelled basically, wherein we are doing the labels first to get that see and feel effect. Then second, we go to the bottles, then we bring the on top of the bottles, then we make the mono cartons, then it comes to the gift set, then it comes to the rigid boxes. Then finally, now we are proud to say that we are the only one now who are making cubes, which are also having the same type of embellishments. So the biggest challenge is, first is it has to, okay, we can talk of lot of embellishments on top of different range of products, but again, it has to be commercially viable. So looking that particular perspective, we have to, on one side, there's the pressure of sustainability. On the other side, it has to be commercial viable. So we are actually compelled to use different type of mix of materials, wherein we are giving both aesthetically a good product for seeing, and second thing for the feel effect on different range of products.
Brilliant. Thank you, Rama. That was good to understand. Consistency is the name of the game, and you've been doing that. And yes, that's very true. Most of the brands that we see today want consistency across the formats, primary and secondary, whether it's on a bottle, whether it's on the structure, which is a folding carton material. It could be on a label, it could be on a tube. And that's what he explained, putting the whole structure together at the one-stop shop, something like what Classique is doing. That's what is being developed by many brands or many converters, sorry. Moving on, Bryan, you specialize in the same line of conversion, but you are very specialized in your field, which is mono carton and folding carton packaging too, right? So you have the traditional stereotype, regular CMYK and prints, which regular prints are happening, but you also specialize in a lot of embellishment, right? So what's your challenge with brands? The same question I asked Rama. You have some innovations which you're doing, that's fine, but you have a different kind of a challenge, I'm sure, because your product, from a shelf standpoint, it really should stand out. Of course, what Rama is doing also stands out in terms of labels and tubes, but focusing your area of paper-based mono carton or folding carton, please share your thoughts.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for inviting me. I'll say the challenges with all the printers are mostly the same challenges we have, because brand owners are the same. Having said that, the main now what the packaging is no longer just a box where you put a product and it has to protect the product, or product remains confined in it. It's not just that. It's actually more of a medium of communication. What the brand owners want to communicate to the end users, like what the brand stands for, the values of the brand. So even before they use the product, the first thing what they touch is the packaging. So definitely it has to have a feel and a feel good look. It has to be appealing, because there is shelf life. You keep it on the shelf, and when the people walk in the shelf, the first thing they have to see, it will be attractive. They want to pick it up. So definitely, and then the challenges comes of sustainability, which more of the products, but for us it's quite okay because we are using paper and boards, which itself is eco-friendly and sustainable. But then people want to use that paper and board, and they want to create a design which will be really, really eye-catching. So and then it has to be cost-effective. So for that, what we do is at CMS, we have a 2-point solution. We have an R&D team which actually creates the key lines in such a way that a less shelf space is taken. So if your product is like, the packaging is big, we try to make sure that it becomes smaller, and so that it's cost effective in a way. And the second is we have designers in-house who can create different types of embellishments in it, giving their consumers value for money, and feasibility in terms of what materials to be used. The materials, we give the suggestion on which material can go where and how it can be used in the best possible way.
Right. So that means you have to find that balance between cost and the quality requirements that they have. Great. Okay. Dennis, let's move on to another very important area, right? Can you share some example as a design agency? You're a dedicated, you're a more focused design agency for the packaging industry, right? You design a lot of packaging work, right? As a design agency, can you share with us some cutting-edge packaging trends that you have implemented in the beauty area or in the cosmetic area, and how that has influenced your project, in the sense, like, could you give us some example of some job which has really come out very successful?
Yeah, I would say that if you look at the latest trends, then you see still a lot of simple packaging, not just to make simple designs, but also reduce the material on packaging itself. recyclable packaging is really very important for all the brand owners that we work with. Also, how tactile it is. You already mentioned it through the paper and all the other materials. It can also be just embossing in the plastics itself. So those things are quite important. We recently developed a whole brand from scratch, a hair care beauty brand. And it's fantastic if you can really start completely from scratch. And even the product was not made. The product formula was not developed yet. So we had the opportunity to look at the market trends, look at who would be the ideal consumer for that, then develop the packaging in line with the whole brand story, the link to the name, to the positioning of the brand. And then we found out that we could use, for the material of this packaging, we could use biodegradable sugarcane packaging. And that fitted exactly with the whole brand story. I think that was a good example for us, how we, from the very beginning till the beauty packaging, really could link the whole brand story.
Right. So again, it's finding the balance, like what we are talking. So connecting with Melanie on the same point, let's talk about this two important things. We are talking about sustainability on one side, functionality on the other side. Okay. When innovating packaging structures and formats, and we are finishing those products, could you give us some examples with your product, with FEDRIGONI? Okay. How do you find the balance between these two, sustainability and functionality?
So we have seen lately many innovations in terms of material. And what I can say is that they are all related to the plastic to paper transformation. We have started to receive a lot of requests, a lot of inquiries from luxury beauty brand, who wants to get rid of the plastic lamination. And this is really something very important for us as well at FEDRIGONI. It's one of our key strategic pillars. And the focus for us is to develop solution to replace single-use plastic, because the lifespan of single-use plastic is about minutes to hours, and they could stay for hundreds of years in the environment. So this is really, really a major concern for us. Paper nowadays, it's capable to replace plastic, I would say. However, it will take time to find some alternative sustainable materials that is capable to replace all functional characteristics of the paper. So at FEDRIGONI, we develop many plastic to paper solution materials, and those are papers with some barrier properties like anti-scratch, paper anti-fingerprint, water resistant, anti-mold, etc. We have launched lately a nice material, sustainable material, which is a translucent paper, to replace the plastic in flexible packaging. And it's mainly targeting the beauty industry. So you can take, for instance, in the makeup palettes, you always have a plastic overlay on it. So you can replace it with a paper. Or in the fragrance industry, the bakur, which is like local culture here, it's very difficult for the brand to find a way to wrap it because it's very oily, and the smell, you should keep the smell as well. So you can use such a material, such a sustainable material, to wrap your bakur, and it's anti-grease with an aroma barrier. So you will keep the smell of the fragrance until you open the sachet. You can use it also for in hospitality, all the toiletries you find in your room, single-use product with always like plastic wrapping. So there are many, many options with sustainable material to replace the single-use plastic in beauty industry, but in other industry as well, like food industry, all the vertical markets. Another innovation that we have found also on the market lately is what the thermoformed molded pulp, which in primary packaging and secondary packaging, it's basically to replace the tray you usually put in gift box, in coffret, and that are made of plastic or of foam. On the market, you can find many technology like this, either with wet or dry molded pulp.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Melanie. Rama, if you can share your thoughts as a printer converter on the same lines. We are talking about balance between sustainability and functionality. In your case, it's a little more than that because you directly work with brands. So give me your take. What are the main success that you've found when it comes to luxury brands?
When we are talking about the luxury brands, or if it is also not luxury, when we are talking the middle range one, so the main challenge, is the consumer demand. Today, the consumer choice and the taste has changed drastically. Like I will cite one example. A brand owner comes up with a range of face wash. It's a simple product. But for face wash, he will like to launch with at least 15 to 20 variants in one shot. Where you'll get papaya, you will get orange, you'll get avocado, you get rice and oatmeal, you name it. And for these kind of 15 different variants, he want to launch in face wash, which is going to be in different size, which is right from 50 ml to 150 ml to 200 ml to a jumbo pack. For that, again, all his designs are different. Then again, he want to have the same thing on the monocarton also. If he is going with a bottle, sometimes they place a naked bottle out there when he want to have high-end embellished labels. So when we are talking of the functionality, and when we talk of having the similar thing on the sustainability part, when we actually request them to go for a sustainable product, then of course, with so many number of variants in bouquet and getting it done on the real production machine, it becomes a challenge for the cost front. So that's how then we have to actually carefully define them. Okay, in that particular range, what are going to be their premium range, which is comes the upper middle, then middle and lower middle. So then they select, okay, this is my going to be like premium range. For that, we will go for the 100% sustainable one. Rest all, they try to compromise only because of the cost front.
All right, thank you. Brian, I would like to ask you a question connecting Melanie's thoughts. She mentioned about plastic to paper transformation or trend which is moving, right? So in your case, as a specialist monocarton printer converter, are you finding that from brands, they were using plastic-based structures and formats before, now they want their either primary or secondary to be monocarton-based? In that case, are you able to find, that's the main question which we're asking, are you able to find the sustainability and functionality balance? First part and second,
Yeah, sustainability, actually most of the brand owners are now very aware of sustainability. More and more brand owners are coming, like Melanie said, for different types of transferring their plastic products or any other products of packaging into paper. But then what they are paying for the plastic and what they will pay for the paper will be quite different. So cost will definitely be a challenge in that. So we have to try to, find the balance with the sustainability and the creative part, because even with sustainability paper of like the paper which looks like craft or whatever, different papers or 100% recycled paper are quite expensive. And then we have to maintain the luxury look. Still, we have to maintain the luxury look. So that time we have to give a bit of embellishments at times, okay? But we have to suggest something. And then second is the speed. What we have to see is the speed, because most of the brand owners, their launching is pretty fast. With a number of brands now in the market, you must be knowing with the international brands, and definitely there are a lot of local brands now into the competition. So with that competition, the speed definitely is always a factor for us. So we have to maintain the quality and well as give them a very good quality product. And in that fast, sometimes we get few days, it's just like 2 or 3 days and all the product needs to be with them. So that's a challenge we face, and but we overcome those challenges by having a very, very good team and good printers and good fine, what I'm saying.
But thank you. But do you see this transition happening from plastic to paper? Do you have clients who are coming up with this kind of a demand?
It is happening, but awareness is there. That's a good thing. There is awareness. So we have to find, like, the suppliers also are getting there. People are getting into sustainability materials. Like if you see before the foiling, now we see in this time the Drupa foiling also board is reclaimed, and is reused. So suppliers are coming slowly and steadily with different types of sustainable materials, yet keeping the luxury of the product.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Dennis, there's a very interesting point when it comes to high-use products.
Yes.
Dennis, designing. As a designer, you're designing, for innovation. Mainly you focus on something which is going to be really attractive on the shelf, that the consumer is going to pick within 6 seconds, and that's going to be the success of the brand. So that's why you really work so many things around that, like in terms of innovation, in terms of functionality. But there are some high-use products like hair care and some products which need some kind of a shelf impact and some kind of attraction. but at the same time, cost matters a lot. So you can't really do much on that. So how do you handle such kind of products as a designer to really design something which is not for the top of the line in the sense of top luxury, like what you have for perfume? I understand you do that, and it works out well. But what about for the high use products which are more cost effective, which is a daily use for most of the consumers?
If we design beauty packaging that is off the shelf, then of course we look at the shelf impact. How can we create something that if you see it from 5 meters distance, that it is attractive in a certain way? And then when you are there and you pick it from the shelf and it's in your hand, how does it feel? What kind of emotion does it give you? How can it connect with you? So those are very important things that we look at when we design the packaging. But also, of course, if you talk about, for instance, a hair beauty brand that is used in the shower, then it needs to be durable. It needs to be handy to have in your hand and to use. And it has to be able to sustain in wet conditions. All these things we take into account when we design this kind of packaging.
Right.
But if it's more for cosmetics and it has to be more luxurious, then you look at it in a slightly different way, of course. And first of all, it has to be beautiful because nobody buys beauty product that doesn't look good. It has to reflect almost what you expect from it. But then you look at how can you still make it as environmental friendly as possible by looking at the materials. I heard my gentleman next to me already talk about the costs, of course, of the packaging. And we see that also quite often that when we get a project, then it's already decided what the cost price can be. And if we come up with a very good idea or a very sustainable idea, but the cost is a little bit higher, then often it can't go through. Then that's the point. The brand owner decides that we don't go for the most environmental friendly option, but we go for the less expensive option in production.
Wow, that's a good one. Thank you. Melanie, dwelling on sustainability, right? As a paper supplier, a specialist luxury paper supplier, what trends in sustainability within the beauty packaging space or sector it really excites and looking at the future of, because sustainability is such a generic term, you find it everywhere now, right? So looking at the future, let's talk which is practical, which is really applicable from FEDRIGONI standpoint.
Yeah, as you said, sustainability is something very common nowadays.
Yeah.
However, we really believe at FEDRIGONI that sustainability is not just a trend. It's a real deep awareness of key stakeholder. And each of us as a brand, designer, printer, converters, has a key role to play and to drive meaningful changes. We are very excited about what the future has to offer in terms of trends and innovation. We have, last year, we have opened an innovation center in Verona, in Italy. It's a home of innovation for creative paper for luxury packaging. So we are able to put all together the best talent from the group, outside the group, and to work together on most advanced technologies to be able to develop innovative application. So we do collaborate with graphic designers, with printers, with converters, with students, with startups, and we really develop futuristic technologies that are not even on the market yet. So for sure, we do see an increasing use of both innovative and sustainable materials. And the integration of technology into packaging will completely change the way brands interact with the consumers by creating personalized and immersive experience. It will allow the consumer to have access to exclusive content, detailed product information, authenticity, safety, and full traceability. And so we do see a bright future for what we call smart or connected paper, not to call RFID.
Sure.
This is really the main exciting future we see in our paper industry.
Thank you. Thank you, Melanie. Rama, moving on to a very important part of the same. We're talking about the future of luxury packaging, right? In the Middle East and Africa, in both beauty and personal care sectors. what growth areas do you foresee? Because you work very closely with brand owners. As you said, you have primary, secondary, multiple structures, labels and tubes and flexibles. So where do you see the future? Everything cannot change at one go for a brand owner. He cannot take, but where do you see brand owners moving in terms of innovation, sustainability, in terms of structures?
As far as the beauty and cosmetic industry is concerned, so in past 6 years, what we have observed is like we are experiencing almost 14% growth across the region. Number of players are increasing, and still this particular market has got the appetite if we just do the exponential growth for at least next 2 to 3 years. So when it comes down to the growth part, of course, it is exponential growth. And having said that, as far as the innovations are concerned, they are changing on a quarterly basis. That is very fast. So as Bryan has also mentioned, the speed at which the brand is expecting their product. So right from the conceptualization stage, when they're talking of the design part itself. So design aspect to the execution part, earlier it used to take maybe 2 to 3 months. But today, any brand which is launching a new product, they are doing it in weeks and weeks. So this is one challenge. So growth, of course, is there. Innovations are happening out of necessity. It's not that we are actually putting a lot of effort to do some innovations. It is the demand of the time today. Without innovation, no one can survive here. And it has to be done on a very fast pace. Innovation is there, growth is there, and the market has got the appetite for equal number of players who are existing as of today, because the growth is happening at a much faster pace.
Before I go to Bryan, I want to just ask both of you, Dennis and Melanie, innovation is happening very fast, is what Rama is saying. How does that reflect on the consumer shelf from a design perspective, from a paper supplies perspective? If you can give us a take. Because, as a consumer, I don't know, if I'm seeing a product on the shelf, I like it and I take it from the shelf. After 3 months, I come and see the same product with a different design. I think twice. I'm telling as a layman, not as a guy from the packaging industry. So how do you really design products and change the design or innovate products regularly but still you maintain the brand integrity? Dennis, I think that's for you.
Of course, that's our skill. That's what we have to do for our clients. Now, especially in this area, I think here in the Middle East and also in Africa, if you change packaging too fast and you don't have a good reason for it, then people don't understand that you're the same brand anymore. Because they don't trust you anymore if you change too often, too radical. But of course, it's necessary that brands update their packaging every now and then to make sure that they're in line with the expectations of consumers. So we look at how can we evolve the design in a way that it fits with the expectation and the ideas of consumers.
Right. Thank you. Melanie, you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add
Sure.
that, regarding the packaging, it's very important also for us to be able to provide with consistent substrate, because as you said, the product is on the shelf. So we need to be sure that, with the UV spot, etc. So for us, it's also very important to be able to provide with a consistency. Back to innovation. It's not only, as I said previously, it's not only innovation design of the packaging itself, but how you use the packaging. So I was talking about smart paper and connected paper, RFID. This is really a way for the brands to innovate without changing the packaging at all, but to really bring an added value to their pack with this smart paper and to provide with an immersive experience, to exclusive content for your consumer. This is a real innovative way to create customer intimacy with the consumer.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bryan, moving on, same question. The future of luxury packaging from a monocarton or fold-in carton standpoint. Where do you see this growing, especially for beauty and personal care?
I think innovation, like we discussed, innovation is a key here. Because especially when the consumer has not yet made up his mind, if he's walking down, like going to a shop and he's seeing all the products, most of the brand values might be the same for him as a thing, but whatever is innovative, he's going to, look at it, he's going to touch it, he's going to feel it, he's going to see what's the innovation, something is coming out, something is stuck on that, something product as an innovation part. So definitely, and for the person who's a regular, like the brand who's regular, they also get, I think they get bored with seeing the same packaging regularly. So they also want a little bit different, because when I went recently to the shop to buy 2 gifts, so I also seen the packaging, how it looks like. So that was the key factor for me to buy those gifts. I bought 2 boxes of perfume. So it was a key factor to me to buy the gifts as well. So when I seen the brand was the same, but they had changed their packaging. They had come up with a nice big box and different types. They put something else. Obviously, they added some other goodies into that. But the box is just one perfume, but the box was so big. And they added some goodies in that. You know what I'm saying? So it really stands out when you go to, buy something for the gift. So innovation definitely is going to be a key. And I think from the paper and from the creative and from the paper and from the end, from the production, we all are looking at that. And definitely the brand owners itself is looking at what innovation we all can give their brand as a value. Future, I think the future, when you say I think it's just started now. The luxury packaging is just started now. So I think the future has a lot of potential, especially now. We have already seen a 3D, what 3D did for packaging. We must have seen a lot of 3D packaging. And now with the AI coming in, the AI also is an additional tool for the future of packaging. So I think the future is quite bright for when it comes to luxury packaging, and especially in this region, it's very bright.
Yeah, before I go to take your final takeaway, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for our wonderful panel, please feel free to ask questions. We were speaking quite a bit on innovation, on sustainability, on functionality, and everything around cosmetic and beauty care and luxury packaging. I hope it was quite insightful, but please feel free to ask questions if you have anybody, please.
Good evening. My name is Satya Prabhu from Tamil Nadu, India. We are also manufacturing plates and packaging boxes with the leaves and the coconut shell. I would like to understand from the designer, what kind of new designs can we come up with leaves? Could you suggest me, and how can we reach this to people who will actually start using it?
So the structure that you're saying is leaves. Leaf.
Yeah, leaf.
What kind of leaf you're talking about?
In India, we have got supari, beetlets.
Okay.
So there is a bark which is falling down from the tree.
Right.
So which is taken by a lot of rural people and it is pressed into different molds. So that can be made into boxes as well. It slips a little bit, but it can be molded into different sizes of boxes. So we would like to get that to be reaching the users. So how can we do it? How can we get that reach?
You're talking about the design aspect, or you want the printability part?
Printing is not possible on that. It is not. We could not print something on the leaf.
See, because right now, in today's world of printing technology, there is a possibility of printing on any type of substrate, whether it's leaf, whether it's plastic. So the only thing is that there's special primers and the coatings which are normally available in the market today. So you have to apply primer. So you cannot have a printing to be done on the front side of the plate, but you can always have on the back side treatment to be done with a very water-based primer, which is a food grade one. And after that, you can go with any variety of printings on top of it.
Super, sir.
So
I'd like to use it.
Sure, definitely. You can stay to help me backstage. We can after talk on that. Yeah.
And how can we make some innovative designs? Can you help us to make some designs?
Of course, we can always have a look at that. Always.
Thank you, sir.
Design also, then you have to see whether you, because nowadays it is biodegradable, as I understand, because the beetle leaves.
Yes, sir.
So
Is it sort of
biodegradable?
It's what we call the alternative fibers such as bias, cotton, hemp, bamboo.
Interesting. Okay.
It's from wood.
You can write a story on it, whether it's going for the kids, whether for the adults, whether for the parties. So you can create the designs accordingly for it.
Sure. So that was a very strange question, but an interesting question. I really like the question. Yeah.
Thank you. An interesting one.
Yeah. Yes.
You converted the answer to be an interesting one.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions, please? All right. So now, before we wrap up, one final takeaway. I mean, really a final takeaway on the future of packaging. Where is it going? Let's start with Melanie. From a luxury standpoint, where are we heading towards? We spoke so many things, but your final takeaway.
Okay, so takeaway. So for sure, sustainability, we have said it's not anymore. It's very common. It's even not a trend. It's something, it's a real awareness. No, what I would say is that we really envision a future where sustainability and technology integrate continuously. Packaging will not only respect the environment, but also will enrich the consumer experience. And we believe that we all have a key role to play. So my advice would be, my takeaway would be that when thinking of packaging, when thinking about design, even at the very early stage of the thinking, is take some advice, work together. I mean, work with a graphic designer, but also work at the very early stage with a printer, with a converter, because this is the only way that we will be all together. We will be able to provide with solution that will make a difference, that will inspire a greater awareness and maybe collective actions to safeguard the planet.
Thank you.
So working together with
collaboration.
all the value chain. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Always so interesting that everybody wants to know the future, huh? And
It's very important. Yeah.
I think in a design and a branding agency, you always live in the future, because what we develop today, the audience will see maybe in half a year. And so we're always ahead. But I think the best way to have an idea of the future, the new trends, is to think of how trends are born. And they're born in the minds of people, in the minds of consumers themselves. It's their perception of what's happening in the world. So if you want to know what are the new trends, you really have to look at consumers, at their life, what makes them happy, what makes them unhappy, how can you contribute to their life and make their life a little bit nicer, and come up with creative ideas for that, that you can, in this case, link beauty packaging so that you can come up with concepts that help your client sell their products.
Brilliant.
So it's really all about the insights that you gather from looking at consumers' lives.
And I think that plays a very important role in understanding from a retail standpoint on the shelf the behavior of consumer. That's more, I mean, we all have to follow
It's very strange, but we see so often when we meet with the new potential client, we ask them about their consumer, then they come with reports, paper reports. And then I just ask the question, okay, did you talk with them yourself? Always the answer is no.
No.
They don't talk, they don't look at it, they don't study it. So that's our start always, is gathering these insights, and from there look at, okay, how can we implement into the new packaging design of the future?
Brilliant. Thank you. That is Rama, from a packaging converter, printer converter standpoint.
Future of luxury packaging is that it has to be made affordable for the low income group. Point number one. Second thing is that innovations, when we are talking, innovations are happening on two fronts. One is the front end, wherein the product itself is getting standout on the shelves. So there, the lot of innovation is happening. At the back end, a lot of innovation has to be done on the converter side with the help of the design team, with the suppliers and all. The speed at which we have to deliver this particular luxury packaging has to be really fast. So if you see from ages and ages, the principles are same. The foundation is same. The only change which is happening is on the speed front. So innovations at the front end and the back end, proper blend of it, so that we can make this particular luxury packaging affordable for the low income groups.
Brilliant. Bryan, your take, please.
Yeah, like I was saying, packaging is what the brand owners want to communicate to the consumers. Dennis was saying the consumers is how the trend is going to go, what the consumers want. So the brand owners, they come with what their consumer needs are. So when the brand owners come to us, it's already they know what the consumer wants. So they want to communicate with the packaging. They want to communicate their story or what they stand for, their values to the consumers. So I think the future is again with how the communication is going to change. What is the communication they want to have? Definitely sustainability being one of them. And I can with Melanie's saying about how they are trying to make more and more sustainable paper for different products, which can convert plastic into paper. So I can see that probably in times to come there might be zero waste in packaging material. So hopefully it should be zero waste for my point of view.
Thank you very much, everybody. Just to wrap up, I've just made some notes. I just want to put this thing together to give a final takeaway so that it's helpful for everybody. So, the key message, what we have put together in today's discussion. Luxury packaging is evolving. Yes, we all agree that. It's moving forward to meet the demands of the modern consumer, as we heard from them. There's a balance over there, whether it's on technology, whether it's on sustainability, functionality, all of them are complementing each other. We're talking about elegance with a purpose, right? That's what is the name of the game now. And we never spoke about this point, but then I'm going to say this as a packaging IMEA editor. I mean, we look after the whole Middle East and Africa region for packaging. And here we find Dubai, particularly UAE and Saudi Arabia now. They're really picking up. And these two particular markets, they're shaping the regional trends when it comes to packaging, whether it's on sustainability or luxury. And you can see some organic and natural products also in this show, which is also picking up. So luxury packaging today is not just aesthetics. It's more about responsibility, innovation, and exclusivity. So meeting these global trends and also the local and regional trends, we have to embrace this effectively and make use of that. That's our final take. I hope it makes sense. Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you very much, panelists.
It's great to see sustainability at the forefront of your discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a round of applause. Hey.